not quite at 2:15, so I'm going to wait just about another 1 minute. All right, is it officially 2:15? Mary Frances Ingram, better known as Frank, has been fully immersed in the Augusta prep community from the time she was born. She was actually at my house weeks after her birth, when her mother was a 5th and 6th grade math teacher. She began in pre-kindergarten, but I think her heart's been here since the day she was born. She's been involved in JV basketball during her 9th and 10th grade year. She has managed the boys' basketball team and the football team and the baseball team. She's been involved in varsity cheerleading for 2 years, and she's a student council rep in the beginning and the end of her high school years. She's participated with the prom committee. She's been a mentor for the lower school. Outside of school, she does her church choir, babysitting, and I trained her as a lifeguard, so she's also worked as a lifeguard. She is joined today by her parents, Julianne and Jace Ingram, her brother, who's joining us hopefully through the ether, Elizabeth, Hugh, and Claire Baird, Mr. Sam Nicholson, an alum, Brooke Arnold, an alum, Carrie Harmer, her nanny, Poppy and Nana, better known as Bob and Betsy Kite, her gran, Elaine Kite, and probably a few more friends that we're getting a little too long on the list to name everybody, but a warm welcome to them, please. And as you can see, Mary Frances is going to talk about babysitting.
About a year and a half ago, I was asked by my mom if I was willing to babysit for a family that had 3 kids. I said I would do it because I needed gas money and they lived nearby. I showed up at about 5:30 to walk through the house and learn about bedtime and dinner time with their mom. And when I walked in, I saw 3 young kids, one of them not even able to crawl. I thought to myself, what on earth have I gotten myself into? What I remember about that night is the baby wanting his mom, having no idea who I am, crying, but I was not able to do much about it because he had just met me and didn't trust me yet. After I finally got him settled into bed, the other 2 really did not want to take a shower and wash their hair. They kept saying, "Mom said we don't ever have to go to bed or shower." They were just running around their room, singing and laughing. Now I look back at this and laugh and see how far I've come with them. But at the time, I did not find it funny and was scared I would never be asked back. But they got into bed at about 8, but then one of them needed their pink pillow. I had absolutely no idea what that was or what it even looked like. All I knew is we couldn't find it. Not being able to find the pink pillow mixed with exhaustion caused crying. That didn't last very long because as soon as I lifted up the covers to cover her up, the pink pillow was right there. Then after the pink pillow, I was ready to go downstairs and rest, but the other wanted water. So I went downstairs, grabbed a cup, put some water in it, brought it upstairs, only to be told that he needs ice or he cannot sleep. So of course, I put ice in his water, then all was well. These kids have ended up being a huge part of my life. Their names are Sam, Mary Houston, and Charlie. I've been babysitting them ever since that night. I even went on their family vacation to help with the kids and their cousins. Before I started babysitting, I was a lifeguard and had my CPR certification. So I felt comfortable when I was asked to give swim lessons to Sam and was comfortable with watching the kids around the pool. This is something you need to take into consideration when being asked to babysit. It's okay to say no to a family as long as you do it respectfully. If you don't feel comfortable with changing diapers and feeding and putting down babies, then don't feel obligated to say yes if you are asked to babysit a 6-month-old. The family would rather find someone who is comfortable with the child. It makes both you and the parents feel safer. If you are looking to babysit but don't know anyone or don't really feel comfortable, then there are a few websites that you can look at, such as care.com and KidSit. Both help you get started as a babysitter. Care.com helps people 18 and older find jobs by connecting you with a family in your area. And then there's KidSit, which does not help you set you up with a family, but it shows you things to do with the children, how much to charge for an hour depending on the age and number of children, and skills that you might need for different aged kids. The Red Cross also offers a babysitting course designed for those ages 11 and older. The class will help you provide appropriate care for infants and children, choose suitable activities, handle certain types of behavior, understand what to do in emergency, and how to start your own babysitting business. I have learned many life lessons babysitting and have had some of the best memories doing it. They are constantly making me laugh the hardest I've ever laughed and always seem to top the last silly thing that they did last time. I like to think that the kids I babysit like me, even if I make them wash their hair at night. I try to do fun things with them, such as play hide and seek and pretend I don't see them when they're just hiding under a sheet. I also like to give them goldfish after lunch, even if they're passed out. I love taking them on walks outside, even if Charlie thinks I'm really bad at pushing the stroller and makes me put a helmet on him before we leave the yard. Me and Mary Houston also share a wardrobe sometimes, like when I had to tell her my 80 pie shirt had magical powers if she wore it so that she'd put pajamas on. She woke me up at 6 a.m. the next morning telling me that she couldn't feel her powers yet. Sorry. Having these kids in my life has taught me to be more selfless and giving. The kids are not able to be self-sufficient yet. They can't make dinner for themselves, pour their own glass of milk, change their own diapers, or even get into bed without my help. I hope that I never lose contact with the kids I babysit because they hold a very special place in my heart. I have watched the kids grow up. When I first started babysitting for the Nicholsons, Charlie was not talking or crawling. Now, he's unlocking the back door, telling me to hurry up behind him so we can go walk. I used to sit in bed with Sam and read him his book, but now it's him reading to me. Mary Houston has found her love for Barbie dolls and no longer needs her pink pillow. It is the weirdest thing to watch them grow up and become who they are going to be, but it's also so cool to me to see them growing to be such cool, tiny humans. My oldest memories are ones with my old nanny, who Jack and I call Nanny Carrie. Nanny Carrie would pick us up from school in her red little car that had toys and video games from McDonald's tucked in the back pockets of the seats for us to play on our short 3-minute drive home. I remember Jack being a lot better at the video games than me, and he always wanted to play the Sonic video game while I would just sit in the back and play with the stuffed animals. As we got older and no longer needed a nanny, we would go visit her at work on holidays and bring her gifts. She even hung up a picture of me and Jack in her store. I thought I was a supermodel because of this and was always so proud to tell people it was me in the picture. Nanny Carrie to this day is someone who I look up to and love, and is very hardworking and loves her family and friends deeply. The way that she cared for me and my brother will always stay with me. I'm sure I gave her a run for her money sometimes, so thank you for staying with us so long. She was and still is always there for my family if we need her. When Jack and I got older, we had a few different babysitters, a few from church, a few family friends, but the one I loved the most was Brooke Arnold, a prep alum, who introduced me to football managing. I'm still trying to figure out if I should thank you for that or not. Just kidding, I love it. But Brooke was just fun and at the same school as me, so I thought it was so cool when I'd see her and say hey to her in front of all of her high school friends. She was there for me when I needed to talk and was willing and wanting to help. I still text Brooke to this day. She even let me stay at her house when my parents were out of town, and we watched The Bachelor and laughed and just caught up. Brooke is someone who I also look up to and wanted to be just like in middle school. I hope we always stay in touch. I've also started babysitting for prep faculty like Brooke did, for people like Mr. Miller and his girls. They really loved giving me a makeover. My nanny and babysitters have played a huge part in my life, and I think it's crazy to think that I can have the same impact on someone's life. I hope that I will have the same effect and keep in touch with the kids I babysit. I'm sad to leave the Nicholsons next year, but don't worry, I'll text y'all when I'm home and I'm always willing to babysit. And to the class of 2021, I've been with most of y'all for over 14 years and cherish each and every friendship, new and old. But my one bit of advice for y'all is to grow as a person. You sometimes have to put other needs before your own. Thank you.
It's a walk down memory lane. Thank you for sharing the people in your life, many of whom were in my life as well. And thank you for sharing your high school years with us. Enjoy your trip around the room.